Hello, I'm glad you're here. I'm Dr. Kimberly Garver, member of the Department of Radiology at Michigan Medicine. I'm here on behalf of my wonderful colleagues, Dr. Catherine Maturin, an outstanding leader in the field of radiology and within our department, and Dr. Amy Young from the Ross Business School and Center for Positive Organizations. We were fortunate to have 3 undergraduate students assist us in this project, which was funded by a grant from the Michigan Medicine Wellness Office. This is a series of 16 short 10-minute modules based on the seminal book by Dr. Kim Cameron entitled Positively Energizing Leadership. Dr. Kim Cameron is one of the 3 founders of the Center for Positive Organizations, which is trying to change the world of work into a more life-affirming, humane place, while at the same time producing often dramatically higher performance. We have one introductory module that shares the principles of what positive, energizing leadership is and what it can do. The next 15 modules discuss one leadership attribute that was found across many different industries to be empirically validated to improve workplace well-being and performance. The great news is that each of these attributes and behaviors are easily accessible, can be learned, are free, and require no additional staff or resources. Today, we will be discussing the 10th attribute, to mostly see opportunities. So let's get started. Today, we will be talking about the value of optimism, as it is this outlook in life that allows us to mostly see opportunities. Positively energizing leaders mostly see opportunities, while de-energizers mostly see roadblocks and are critics. Positively energizing leaders tend to be optimistic, while being balanced with realism. They find ways to move forward and remain hopeful about a successful future. De-energizing leaders tend to be more pessimistic and become bogged down in problems, offering yeah buts, rather than building collaboration with a yes and approach. I would highly recommend you watch the 17-minute TED Talk by Dr. Shiro, who is a neuroscientist on the optimism bias and how best to use it. There are many benefits for being an optimist for our work success, health, and well-being. However, it is important that you balance this optimism with some realism and understand how this bias works. Here are some key points, and how we interpret what happens to us really matters. If anyone who has ever planned a vacation knows, the anticipation and the planning makes us happy. Being optimistic has the power to change both our subjective and objective reality. For instance, if you don't believe that you can accomplish something, you likely won't. Learning about our bias does make us more careful, but doesn't take away our optimism. Our explanatory style is the way we explain positive and negative events in our life, and this can significantly impact your mental health and well-being. These 3 P's are permanence, the feeling that something will last forever; pervasiveness, it will affect all areas of my life; and personal, it's all my doing. For example, Kevin's an optimist and gets a D on his math exam. Kevin views this as a one-off, isolated event rather than a personal failing. He was busy with other things and didn't get to study, which he knows is important for next time. When Kevin gets an A on his math exam, he's not surprised, as he views this is what he always does, that it reflects he's a good student in all subjects, and it's due to his hard work and intelligence. Mary, however, is a pessimist. When she takes the same test and gets a D, she sees this as something that will haunt her forever, will affect her other grades and ability to get into college, and is due to her inability to understand math. If she gets an A on the test, she sees this as good luck, something that will only happen once and is related to the test being easy and not her innate math abilities. Here is the most important slide. You may not have been born an optimist, but you can learn to be more of one. The ABCDE method was proposed by Dr. Seligman, who is the father of positive psychology, and he explains how you can use this sequence to recognize your beliefs and actually change them. In fact, if you can change your beliefs, which you have control over, you can change your life. A stands for adversity, or the obstacle you face. B stands for your belief. How are we interpreting this event? C stands for consequence. How do our thoughts about this event lead to feelings and then reactions and actions? D stands for disputation. How can we learn to challenge our thoughts by asking, what evidence do you have that this is true? E stands for energization, the energy we obtain when we throw away self-defeating thoughts and replace them with more constructive thoughts. Let's use an example. Ben just had a bad breakup. Ben believes this was all his fault because he was distracted by work. He thinks he will never find someone he will like again, and he'll be a bachelor forever. Because Ben believes this, he stops going out and mopes around his apartment for the next month. Ben then decides to challenge his thoughts. What if it wasn't about him or his work, but instead she just wasn't ready for a relationship, or she didn't understand his commitment to his company? Maybe this was a blessing in disguise, because he needs to date someone who is as passionate about her work as he is to his. There are plenty of girls who will respect someone who takes their work seriously to build a good life for themselves and their family. Next time, I'll be more aware of this and talk openly with my girlfriend about work-life balance. Ben now feels energized and is ready to start dating again. The broaden and build theory of emotions was developed by a key researcher in the field of positive emotions, Dr. Barbara Fredrickson. The theory states that positive emotions do much more than make us just feel good in the moment. These positive emotions may include joy, happiness, contentment, gratitude, and awe. Experiencing such positive emotions helps us to broaden rather than narrow our thinking. In other words, the happier we are in the moment, the more flexible and creative we can be in the way we work. Broadening behaviors help us build rich, work-related knowledge, skills, and abilities, which improves their effectiveness, resilience, and innovation. These broadened behaviors last much longer than the positive emotions that triggered them. Anything you can do to help your team feel happy, content, grateful, hopeful, and excited will help them broaden their outlook, which will help them build their resources, skills, and creativity. It is a self-sustaining loop or a positive spiral that can build upon itself. Here are some practical tips and tricks to help us become more optimistic. Identify your explanatory style. Watch how a setback is viewed either as a one-time limited event or as an opportunity for learning. Get a larger perspective. Look at a negative event in the grander scheme of your life in 8 months, 8 years, and 8 decades. Watch yourself chatter and challenge negative thoughts. What evidence do I really have for this? Focus on your strengths and contributions in addition to your areas of development. Here are some additional practical tips and tricks to become more optimistic. Practice adequate self-care so you have the bandwidth you need to better manage setbacks. Surround yourself with positive people. Try to isolate from the black holes who want to get us in the gutter with them. Practice self-compassion. What would I say to a friend or my child if this negative event happened? Focus on what you can control. and find more ways to help build positive emotions with your team. If you have time, break into small groups to discuss these questions over the next 15 to 20 minutes. Small groups are best kept at 4 to 6 people maximum. Please assign one person in the group to report insights learned from the group back to the larger group when we return. What did you learn that resonated with you? What did you learn that challenged or surprised you? What suggestion will you implement for yourself, and what suggestion will you implement in your work setting with others? What else did you hear?